Hello, fellow gaming lords, and welcome back to Marvel Future Revolution. I'm sorry about the delay in giving you guys content. Like I said, I got hit in the eye at work with some pretty good wood and can't see out of one of my eyes. But I'm going to try to give you guys this content while looking at the screen through one. This is going to be exceptionally difficult since I'm trying to look at two games at one time. Right now, I'm just basically playing as Black Widow and trying to level her up, my least favorite character in the game. But anyways, let's talk about something real quick. I saw a video by DM Darth Microtransaction concerning some of the systems in the game that he feels are broken. He brought up 3 of them that he was like, you know, these systems really gotta fucking change because they're killing the game. Let's take a look at the systems that he talked about. Number one being, in my book, number one that he talked about was the Omega card system. So I don't have any Omega cards currently equipped on this character, but the way that you obtain Omega cards is what he's looking at specifically, right? Meaning that if I go inside the shop over here and I want to do the draw rates on these cards are relatively low. They're pretty bad, relatively low systems. The worst thing about these cards is that they all come with exclusive stats that cannot be re-rolled at all. Okay, this was actually a system done by Netmarble on purpose. I can't look at this game any differently than what it is, right? So he's pissed off about that because the stats are bad. Then they get an exclusive stat on a card that really doesn't make sense to a player, right? Because you're like, well, I'm screwed now because I got this stat for, you know, this character, but I want to use the card on this one. So I'm going to point something out to you guys because I've told you guys repeatedly that this game is pretty much Marvel Future Fight 2.0. You know that the development team that is Marvel Future Fight is the same development team that is Marvel Future Revolution. It's not any different. We got the same CMs and everything else like that, right? So right now I'm engaged in some PvP battle inside this game and inside Marvel Future Fight. And I want to bring this up specifically because I wanted to show you guys that the system is intentional the way it is. So in Marvel Future Fight, what we had the ability to do was we had the ability to get cards, right? And as you play the game, various game modes reward you with cards similar to the way that they are now. And you would basically equip these cards, right? And here goes the card system, and you can see the cards, right? These cards would basically they would improve all of your characters. See how it says here the substats for the equipped cards will apply to all characters, right? Well, that system was evolved, right? And so we started out with, you know, normal cards like these right here that you would equip. You know, they're the same inside Marvel Future Revolution. You have normal cards, right? And then that graduated to premium cards. So those were, these cards were available for you. The equipped cards. These cards with this nice little P icon on them were equipable, and you looked at them, right? And they had these fixed option stats, right? And then they had these random option stats, you know. So as you got up, the cards basically gave you more stats. So it's no different than Marvel Future Revolution, right? And you would basically go inside the shop. You know, I'm gonna go inside the store, and I have these dimension boxes, right? And inside the dimension boxes, I could do, well, not the dimension box. Where am I at? Yeah, right here, dimension boxes. I can go inside here and I could purchase these cards. Now, originally the game didn't have a pity system for the card. Now there is a pity system inside there. But basically, these would roll and I would get cards. They had extremely shitty drop rates on these cards, and they still have pretty shitty drop rates on these cards. And every so often they do these chance increased events where the specific cards increase. Everything's starting to look pretty similar to you from Marvel Future Revolution. So yeah. So then as time went on, they said, hey, you know what? We're going to introduce a whole new system to the card. And all the cards had these star systems on there. So the star system basically increased 2 new stats that they put in the game: concentration and additional pierce. The more blue stars you had, the more pierce damage you increased. The more red stars you had, the more concentration you increased. And these stats literally came with relevance to the game, because when you were playing modes like World Boss Legend, which was a growth from World Boss Ultimate, and you had other game modes where Pierce was more important. Pierce was really important. So what did it do? It made players need to get these premium cards, especially because you were re-rolling consistently for these random options. You were re-rolling for the random options, and you were re-rolling for the the craft type premium, right? So we already see this in Marvel Future Revolution, right? Then it came with these crafted stats. So I would literally combine a card, and I needed to have like a 6-star card to combine it with, or I would craft combine it so that way I could kind of, equip, premium cards that I already owned, and have those cards basically re-roll this for premium stats. Now those premium stats on the card were pretty good across the board as long as you were able to re-roll them. Like if you look at this card, I have a pretty shitty stat right here in fire resist. I could have better stats in terms of like ignore defense, or probably ignore defense is the only one that I would go for here. So you would re-roll those stats. Well, this has been there since Marvel, this has evolved over the last 2 years especially, but it has been a part of Marvel Future Fight for at least 4 or 5 years or so. So here goes something for you guys to take away from this. Do I feel Marvel Future Revolution will change the low stat rates on them? No, they're not going to. If you think that they are, you're only fooling yourself. It's not going to happen. Will they add a pity system inside here? Yeah, they're gonna probably add a pity system at some point, and if you really think about it, they already kind of have. And I'll show you what I mean by that. The pity system in the game is literally you making purchases and then going inside your token shop and then spending the money to purchase these Omega cards. Because if you look at the chance inside here, you do have a chance in there to get them. But they're gonna probably do the same thing that they did on the draws for the increased chances with the uniforms. There's going to be a draw increase chance. But has that really changed any? No. What we need to be crying for isn't a pity system. What we need to be crying for is better draw rates overall, because the draw rates in this game are absolutely atrocious. That is the system in and of itself. It's not only limited to the cards. It's the costumes and the cards and the dimension box draw rates. Dimension ones you're not so worried about. Well, you are worried about it with one of the DM's next points inside here. It's the costume and draw rates. We need better draw rates. We need better evaluation 1-to-1 ratio on these Omega points, because at current right now, if you were to engage in their pity system inside the game, you would basically, in order to get this 4 to 5-star Omega card box that has a possibility, remember what I told you, 20 Omega points is worth $30. So you're looking at $150 to get this chance at 100 Omega points to get a 4-star Omega card box that's not even there. So are they going to change it? The valuation of the things inside this game are way overpriced, and whales have to recognize, pay-to-play players have to recognize that the more you invest in it, the more you are telling Netmarble you are willing to pay these sums of money. If you did it in the past, if you are currently still doing it, then you are incentivizing them to actually do this and continue to play, and you're making the game harder for free-to-play players to come. There has to be some point, some line where even whales recognize that, hey, my ability to whale versus what I should be investing in comes in a little bit of different hand. Should I be paying $2,000 or $10,000-$15,000 for a Rise of the East costume? No, you shouldn't, because you're incentivizing them to actually do that. Instead of saying, what is a fair and equal value for this Rise of the East costume? It damn sure ain't $10,000 to $15,000 worth of pulls. Think about that, right? So one of the other things that he came up with was the cores. Specifically, he was looking at the costume cores inside the shop. Let me go back to the headquarters real quick. So if I was to go to headquarters and I was to go to combine cores, inside the core shop, you basically have these relative chances. And I do think this is a trash ass system, I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you, where it was basically, I can go inside here and I have a chance at combining cores inside the shop and hope that I'm going to get some pretty decent rewards from these cores. But ultimately, overall, it's a pretty trash system because combining cores, you basically get like a 50% chance. It makes it to the point where it's not even worth it to combine 1-star and 2-star cores at all. Those are better being extracted or dismantled. And then you combine 3, 4, 5-star cores. Here was the problem with combining those cores. There's no guarantee that combining cores will get you a light core, meaning I can't take 3 red cores, combine them, and then guarantee that I'm going to get a red core. That's just not how it works. So think about in terms of the way Netmarble has generated and tried to, like, we don't have a system similar to that. Like combining cores or cores inside this game would be the equivalent of, let me pull this back up over here for Marvel Future Fight. Cores are pretty much the equivalent of pulling up a character and going into your ESO 8, for instance, right? Or going into your character gear and equipping Uru, for instance, right? So you have those. Now, I don't know what I'm going to get. I don't know how I'm going to get them. I know that I could come inside here and I can say, hey, you know, I want to combine cores, right? So for instance, if I go to my inventory and then I have all these cores or these Urus that I have dropped right there, I can say, hey, you know what? I've got, let's not do those. I got energy attack and I want to combine all these. I can combine all of these and I can go and get a higher energy attack, right? That's just literally the natural regression of it, right? Let's cancel that and go to +10 because I don't want to spend all my money for that. So we can combine these and I can go 10 of these and I could combine them like that, right? There you go. So it's simple as that, right? Or what I could do is simply combine all these Uru that I have unlocked, and I can say I'm going to combine all of them and I want to combine them whatever, and I'll hope for whatever I get. So it'll combine any of the cores and it'll give me some random amalgamation of new cores at a higher level, and some fails. That's pretty much the same system. So it's not as if Netmarble doesn't have the ideas for where this is supposed to come from. You know what I mean? Like, they know exactly where they were going with this. They already had systems that they looked at and they could have did it. But the intent behind cores is that literally, yes, it is so much harder for you to combine them than it is for you to simply come over here and draw at a 900 crystal clip and hope that, you know, I'm going to get these cores. Like, if you notice, 4 and 5-star cores are literally one of the most featured things inside of the system, right? So you're going to probably look at this and go, hey, you know what, I'm going to jump over here and just open Dimension Box to get cores instead of trying to combine them, because I'm spending a lot of resources in terms of getting these cores. And now, if you really look at the game, you're not really spending a lot of resources. I hate to say that, but you're really not. The ability to obtain Convergium in this game is so easy. And that's really the reason why they are paying you for this, trying to force you into this new convenience fee of these new bundles where, hey, we're going to give you these support enhancement bundles and shit like this. Don't buy these. I've literally said them. But how many freaking whales have jumped on this and just started paying for these packs? You're incentivizing them to create packs like this. You're incentivizing them because you already paid the money for it. And if you continue to pay the money for it, then you will continue to incentivize them to do these stupid ass purchase packs inside here. Like, you think Netmarble doesn't have somebody on staff that literally goes, hey, guess what? We got this 3,000 crystal bundle over here where I get 3,000 crystals at $27 and it's available per week. But inside the charge shop, I don't have anything like that. There's nothing like that. I've got a $50 pack inside here that's going to give me 3,000 crystals. Do you understand? Stop incentivizing them and complain about the root of the problem, not the system of the problem. So the next thing that he brought up is an interesting point that I've noticed. I don't think I can pull it up with her because I don't think I'm at Specializations yet. Yeah, Specialization is locked inside here. So let's change over to a different hero. So the next thing that he brought up inside here was Specialization. And this is an interesting one. Very, very interesting, and is one of the reasons why I feel that they added the raid ticket in the first place, right? It was a way of addressing this without necessarily having to address it, because inside your specialization, as you go to rank up a hero, meaning that you have any character inside there, you can see I'm almost done with my specialization here. Now just imagine, right, that when I go to increase the specialization on these, I have the ability to fail. Yes, there's an enhanced success rate of 75% here, right? That's what it says. But I do have a 25% chance to fail. I can tell you I've failed on this 3 times. I have failed, yes, on this 3 times. So what is this incentivizing me to do? This is incentivizing me to have to go over here to my raid and play this multiple times. So I have to literally jump inside the raid and I have to play it 3 times, right? But let's say, for instance, that I don't want to actually jump in the raid right now because I want to finish this video for you guys. But let's say that I don't get enough of those things because I jump inside the raid and then I jump over here and I finish out these. Now I have to get a reward counter, right? Meaning I have to respin rewards because I need to get there. So literally it's going to cost me at least 1 raid ticket because they introduce, oh, it's right there at the top of the screen. They introduce these raid reward tickets. So now you can get 2 per week that you have to pay 100,000 per, I think, well, it's 200,000 per, right? So that way you can do it. But if I don't have these raid reward tickets, then I can't do it, right? Because then I have to actually pay crystals inside here. But what they've done is they've introduced a system inside here. So like if you go to the SIF special event, right? If you pick up any of these mystery boxes now, right? These mystery boxes have a chance of dropping raid reward tickets. Actually, to be honest with you, they've dropped raid reward tickets fairly frequently across the boxes for me. Like, let me see if I can pull this up. I think I use all my raid reward tickets. But they have been fairly, yeah, I've used all my raid reward tickets, but they have been fairly frequent, I guess, inside here to say that I've probably gotten 3 or 4 raid reward tickets from that mode. But the problem being is that why do we have a fail rate system inside this game in the first place? Why? Well, because I have to be able to sell something to you people, right? So if you go inside the shop and I want to get any of those convergiums so that way I have to do it, well, guess what? I'm probably going to look at purchasing one of these packs, these bundles that are going to include convergium and so forth inside of them. I'm going to purchase these things inside here that are going to give me raid reward tickets because those are the reason why they're included inside the shop. Do you guys see where they're going with this? Everything is about you basically paying money. And essentially, look, I have no problem with paying money for certain things inside of a game, but there are things that go well over the scope. And this is one of those things that are well over scope. So for instance, the problem, bottom line, in my opinion, I agree with most of what Darth Microtransactions said. I disagree with the notion of addressing the problem because the persons that are going to create more of a problem with this is the whales. If you've spent $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, $15,000 already, Netmarble is looking at that as a way that they, I can basically get one consumer to pay. If one consumer is dropping $15,000 in a game so they can get a Rise of the East, I've basically almost paid somebody's salary now. I've paid 1/3 of somebody's salaries. So I only need a few whales across the entire continent or entire world in order to fund my entire game. And then I'm not worried about what the free-to-play players are complaining about. That's essentially what you're looking at, right? So if you continue to contribute to these instead of asking to address the problem in the first place, which is, hey, these draw rates are terrible. These the combined core rates are terrible. I shouldn't have a 50% chance. It shouldn't be random, right? There should be no 50% chance of combining cores. If I want to combine cores, then I should be able to combine cores and it should go up to the next level. If I want to purchase for the convenience of not having to worry about having cores, then I should just be able to pay for the convenience. But we've taken away convenience and we've added pay to win. And as Darth Microtransaction, a number of other YouTubers have said, this game is largely pay to win. There is a free-to-play economy that is fantastic, but the large part of this game is pay to win. Now, hey, I'm just saying what's there and I'm looking at what's there. Is that the only thing that I think in the game that is wrong? No, not necessarily. And I do believe that as the whales continue to stop paying for certain things and rein in their spending and say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to be part of this system. I'm not going to pay you. I think there will be some kind of balanced approach that they probably will be forced to take inside the game. That's why I try to give you guys information every time that they put inside some kind of, pay to win system inside here and tell you, look, these bundles aren't worth it because there's not a 1-to-1 ratio inside here. So just try to pay attention to that stuff. I hope this this video has enlightened you a little bit and added to Darth Microtransactions main complaints and giving you guys some clarification, because I've said it, I'll keep saying it. Marvel Future Revolution ain't but Marvel Future Fight 2.0. And if you're looking at any system that's available inside Marvel Future Revolution, you can compare it easily to Marvel Future Fight to Marvel Future Fight. It is so simple. So acting as if you don't know why, or you don't know how, or you're questioning this, just go jump inside Marvel Future Fight. Go over to the game, jump in there. It's you can completely free to play that game. It's a 100% single player experience, PvE, that you can just generally do without having to worry about other players. And you can easily see where the systems are from that game to this game. I'll probably add on more to this if you guys have questions about it. I know I still need to do the Omega card videos. Hopefully I can get my eyesight back and it becomes less difficult to do these things. So, all right, guys, until next time, hit that like, hit that subscribe, and I hope to bring you guys more content in the future. Peace.